Python has had a pretty bad run of it when it comes to bugs as of late. There have been 2 bugs that have come into the public eye in very quick succession, one of which hasn't been fixed, the other has been fixed but in a controversial fashion. In this video I'm going to talk about both of those, but before I do that I'm going to prelude it a little bit by saying that I actually did a video a little while ago on a 10-year-old Python bug that was fixed recently, I believe, when Python 3.10 came out. However, that bug was not particularly damaging, you couldn't do any damage with it. The worst it did was just a minor miswording of things, and when it was fixed it broke some tests for some actually pretty notable libraries. IPython was one in particular that it broke the test for when that fix came in. However, this bug is, one, significantly older at 15 years, not just 10, and 2, has the potential to destroy your entire operating system if, the circumstances align. The bug itself concerns the Tarfile module, which is a module within the Python standard library, specifically the extract method. So the method that uncompresses and extracts files from tar archives. Specifically, the bug could be triggered by naming files within tar archives a certain way before they're extracted. So for example, if you had a file name like this, what it would do is it wouldn't just extract a file called exactly that into the current directory. What it would do is it would take these ... slashes and actually change the working directory to go up 2 levels, and then it would extract the file there. So if you had a number of these files all in a in a tar archive, you could overwrite huge swathes of data by extracting these files outside of the directory they're supposed to be in. And if you're running your Python program with administrator permissions, if you had, say, a file name like this, you could start overriding system files, potentially files that were necessary for the operating system to use and able to actually operate, and leave your OS completely and totally unusable. The bug was originally flagged, as I say, in August 2007. There is a GitHub issue for it, I'll leave it in the description below. And the original conclusion to that was that the Tarfile module complied with all the path name resolution guidelines within POSIX, and as such was not a security flaw. A warning was introduced into documentation to make sure you check tar archives before extracting them, but that was the official stance, and I'm quoting that directly from the GitHub repository there. And that was that for about 15 years, until Trellix happened to stumble across this vulnerability while actually trying to find a different one completely. They thought they found a 0-day bug, that actually found one that was 15 years old. The bug is thought to affect over 350,000 open source projects, and of course we don't know how many closed source projects it includes. These projects include things like the Spider IDE, an entire integrated development environment for data analysis projects within Python. So that's quite something. Trellix has been pushing bug fixes to some affected repositories. As of this recording, I don't know exactly how many they've done. Articles I've read were written on different days, and so the numbers are ever so slightly different. However, the numbers should be about somewhere between 15 and 20,000 products have received this fix already. Another 70-odd thousand are going to receive it over the next few months. If you are unsure as to whether your project is going to receive this Trellix fix or not, or if you're just curious about how to fix the problem itself, what you can do is you could just check the name of the tar file and just check if it has the ... in it and just remove them pretty much. So you can just strip it down to the actual file name and then you can extract that. Or you can prevent extracting from anything that wouldn't be extracted into the directory you want it. The Trellix fix does take a different approach. So for what I can tell, it sort of extracts them and then makes sure that all the files went in the right place. I don't know how it does that without overriding all the files anyway. But they did that because they didn't necessarily want to filter, valid use cases out. But if you, want to implement your own fix, so you can just go this hard set way if you want to. I've seen discussions on this GitHub issue about introducing a new check paths argument and setting it to true by default in Python 3.12. However, as of now, that is only an idea. There is a separate issue talking about fixes, but it doesn't seem to, go anything beyond any, just more ideas. It doesn't seem to set anything in stone. So it'd be worth having a look at that to see how that continues on. The other bug that was found, I'm kind of surprised it wasn't found before, because theoretically it's been a bug ever since Python could do anything, or at the very least since Python could process infinitely long integers. And it involves using the int method to convert a string of digits, and specifically how long it takes to do that. So according to the official CVE issue, which I will link in the description below, a system could take 50 milliseconds to pass an int string with 100,000 digits and 5 seconds for 1,000,000 digits. Float, decimal, int from bytes, and int for binary bases 2, 4, 8, 6, and 32 are not affected, which is an interesting one. So that leads me to believe it is an implementation with how the int function converts base 10 digits, which of course is going to be by far the most common use case. The highest threat from a bug like this is in a denial of service attack. So obviously if you pass in a string that is millions and millions of bytes long, or millions and millions of characters I should really say, long, and ask Python to convert that to an int, because Python can deal with infinitely long ints, it's just going to take a really, really long time. And because Python isn't multi-threaded by default, it could block the entire system and cause a denial of service. This bug was fixed in Python 3.10.7. However, it was done in a somewhat controversial way, as this is a breaking change, and breaking changes are normally reserved for minor fixes, so say 3.11, 3.12, stuff like that. It was also fixed without any real due discussion. The bug was just pushed out and suddenly a load of projects were breaking. The actual fix itself is to limit the number of characters the int method can convert to 4,300, which is really rather a lot. I don't know what the reason for that exact number is. But 4,300 digits is a huge, huge number, so theoretically, not a lot of projects are going to be broken from this. But that's not really the point of, I say backlash. It's not, it's not anything that's going to be like, oh, I'm never using Python again, rah, 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 rah. But there were complaints that it was not done transparently enough, it was not discussed enough, and that it should have been a breaking change in Python 3.11 rather than a patch fix that breaks 3.10. On the other side of the argument, it is a security issue. Patch fixes are designed to fix security issues much like this, and so releasing a patch fix to fix this problem as soon as possible could be seen as the right thing to do. I'm interested to hear what you think about this, so make sure to leave your opinion in the comments as to whether you think Python did the right thing or the wrong thing in releasing this breaking bug fix as a patch release rather than a minor release. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about today. If you enjoyed the video, then make sure to leave a like to let me know, and maybe subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. As always, if there's anything you want me to cover on a video, then make sure to leave it in the comments, and I'll see if I can get around to it. If you want to support this channel monetarily, you can do so in two ways. The first of which by hitting the join button down below, the second of which by becoming a patron. £1 a month on either method, and you can be on this screen like these people, and I will see you in the next video on Monday, where I talk about converting Python files to exe formats, which would be quite useful for a lot of people, I think. So I'll see you for that.